Welcome to the Day Clean Devotion Queen podcast. Our podcast episodes breathe life into selected themes from the DDQ Meditation Journal. Hosted by our founder, Najma Thomas, we engage in heartfelt discussions with a diverse roster of inspirational Queen sisters. We explore their unique perspectives, uncover the wisdoms shaped by their journeys, and celebrate the trials and victories along the way. Together, we are creating a womanifestation space where conversation meets examination and sparks transformation. Hey, Queen Sis. Welcome to the 5th podcast episode in our first series for 2026. This is Conversion Conversations. And if you've been following us this year, it's not conversion like someone trying to recruit you to a new religion. This is conversion like a soul-changing directions, like manifesting a whole new reality. The season is for women who left old versions of themselves and walked straight into who they were meant to be for such a time as this. And we've been talking to the aunties, the elders, the healers, the field change agents, the teachers, and now we have the principal in the building. I am really so happy to be sharing the mic in the space with you today, Queen Sis Alana Jenkins. And is it Marchel now?
Marchel, yep. It's like Marchel. It's like a Buford Marchel, but with a C instead of an S.
Buford, we're so special. Alana Jenkins, let me give y'all Jenkins Marchel, give you a little bit of intro, and then we'll get into our conversation. So Alana is the Sea Islands Heritage Academy founder and executive director. She finds her heritage in Gullah culture. And this proverb, y'all may have heard of it, must take care the root for heal the tree. And it roughly translates to, you must take care of the root in order to heal the tree. And as an experienced educator, Alana knows that students' roots must be firmly planted in order for them to exercise agency and access the opportunities available to them. Alana holds to the belief that community-centered schools are the cornerstone for achieving educational equity. Previously, before coming to the wonderful Low Country, she worked at Coney Island Prep in Brooklyn, New York. You will hear that Brooklyn come out, I'm sure, where she served as Dean of Students and Vice Principal, managing teacher and curricular development. Prior to this, Alana spent several years as a classroom reading and writing teacher at high-performing public charter schools across New York. So she received her master's in teaching from Relay Graduate School of Education, holds a bachelor's in English literature from Middlebury College. She's a wife, a mother, a consultant, a community champion, all the things. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the space, Alana. It is such a delight to have you here.
Najma, thank you for welcoming me into this space, right? On so many levels, right? Just on this conversation, sure. But when I first returned, I guess that was like 6 years ago now.
It's been that long.
Wow, 6 years ago. Wow. You just have always just been this welcoming presence in spirit, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh my goodness, Queen Sis, thank you. It is my pleasure. It was a delight to get to know you. And now we're getting to know you again.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that. So I'm going to start our opening question. Same question I ask all of our guests, right? What is your day clean routine? How do you usually get your morning started?
How do I get my morning started? So, I currently have a 1-year-old and I've inherited a 14 and a 16-year-old. And so my mornings, once everybody is up, is pretty chaotic, right? It just is, we gotta go, put your shoe on, let's go, get in the car, get to the bus, like, right? It's running, running, running.
Yeah.
But and we co-sleep with our 1 year olds, right? So he's with us, so he wakes me up in the morning, or rather I wake up because I've gotten to the point where I wake up about like 20 minutes before him,
Oh,
right? And it's a beautiful 20 minutes, right? He's currently taking a nap here, and I don't know if you can hear this little shusher that we have, his little white noise background.
aw.
And it is just a moment of peace. And I get an opportunity to sit in gratitude for a moment,
Mm,
right? And I am somebody who loves a good devotional. I'm currently doing a devotional that's around prayer, right? And
mm,
around prayer and encircling prayer. And I spend about 10 minutes or so kind of reading and getting an opportunity to be grounded. And taking a second before the day starts to just kind of sit in gratitude. And I just have the opportunity in those moments to look over at my husband and the baby and just be filled with the gratitude of answered prayers,
mm,
right? And I know we're going to talk about seasons changing and all of that, but even as seasons change, knowing that that is where we are
yeah,
is just kind of how I generally start my day.
yeah.
Um, and then my husband's alarm goes off, and then the baby wakes up, and then we gotta yell at our 14-year-old 4 times to wake up, right?
And then it
Before all of
starts.
that happens, it is just like a quiet moment of solace and gratitude.
Oh, Alana, I just so deeply appreciate the way you contextualize gratitude for answered prayers. You
Hmm.
know, because we talk about gratitude a lot. So gratitude, I'm thankful, but gratitude for answered prayers is just a beautiful thing. It's just a reminder that you have what you prayed for right now, Queen Sis.
And even if you don't want it this
Legit.
second, you got what you're praying for,
You
girl.
you
You prayed
that
for this,
part.
so it's yours.
That part. Listen, if Daryl is listening, he's probably somewhere laughing because I often remind him, "You prayed for me, sir, so don't." This
You
is
wanted it. I'm
take it up,
sorry.
take it up with a higher power, good man.
Yep. Yep. That's right. That's right. Right. That's exactly right.
That is wonderful. So, okay, so let's get into the shifts.
Yeah.
So, you've done so much in your educational background, stewarding the next generation coming in, but now is a new season in your life. When
Yeah.
people encounter Alana in this season, who are they meeting?
They're meeting someone who is peaceful,
Mm,
right? And I say that because there was a time in my life where there felt like um, a constant state of chaos, right? Right? Especially when you're building something new. Every single second, every phone call, everything matters so much. And I am sitting in a piece of very high, very high victories and very low valleys, right?
mm,
And knowing that it's gonna be okay, right?
yeah.
And there's just a level of peace that comes with that, right? And you're also meeting somebody who has a fight, but also can see how the systems are working so hard to wear us down. And I'm not letting the systems interact with the peace,
Mm,
right? And so it's just kind of knowing that those two things exist in this moment, and that's okay.
yeah.
And so kind of that's the person who you're meeting right now.
It is a delight to beat you. And I'm going to reach out and touch some of that energy of not letting the system interact with my peace. Like you
Hmm.
can't, thou shalt not cross. you,
No, you
you
cannot
can't
cross,
come. You
right? It is.
cannot cross.
It's I on the way over, I was on the phone with this woman who we're working very closely with, and I can just hear in her voice how she's feeling
Mm,
beaten down by the systems. And she told me something, and I'm like, look, this is the system doing its thing. It's
Yeah,
doing what it's intended to do, and keeping you out of this space is what it is intended to do.
surely.
Keeping our kids from accessing the greatness that they deserve and their inherent greatness is what the system is intended to do. And you just going back to your question, right? You are not, you are meeting somebody who is not afraid to say that,
Yeah.
right? There has been times where the messaging that I had to use was really rooted in making sure that the system would accept,
It's okay.
right? It's like I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I tell everybody I know that I'm a palatable black girl. You know what I mean?
Hmm,
And I am
hmm.
somebody that people could see and they're like, "Oh, look, no, she's safe.
She's okay.
She's okay."
She's approachable.
Exactly. She's approachable. She doesn't scare us,
No,
right?
she's all right.
And it was a fascinating shift in myself to watch that shift in outside happen because
Yeah.
coming from New York, right? Like that's I didn't have to be that person, right? I didn't have to placate to people because the conversations were bold and they were about equity, they were about access, and then shifting into a space where those conversations may have you blackballed from a room,
Hmm.
right? I had to maneuver that in a way that didn't allow for me to be my full self. But in this season, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to say, like, listen, y'all don't care about my babies. It's okay. We gonna
Anyway,
care about the babies.
anyway, anyway,
Right. Anyway, is right.
anyway.
Hmm.
Oh, we love this. We love this so much. This is powerful. Let's talk a little bit more about leaving and returning and building vision, because you did such considerable work building to this point right now, Alana. What did your journey away from this area, sort of your experience outside of this area, teach you about access, about opportunity and belonging? You've talked about the system. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I started my professional educational journey in a classroom in Bed-Stuy that was an all boys public charter school. So 97% of my boys were little black boys,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and I was tasked with teaching them reading and writing. We all know the adage, boys don't like to read. That's not true.
It's not
It's
true.
not true, right? Everybody likes to be seen and find things that make them feel seen,
Mm,
right? And so when I think about my very first lesson in access and in creating equity has been truly around one, seeing people, right? Seeing our kids for who they are, seeing our families for who they are, seeing the richness of everything around them as who they are, right? And one thing that I saw in that school that I initially worked at, and in many schools, is that we try to make schooling this bubble, right? Like school only exists and it is perfect in here and you are safe in here and everything outside, you leave it at the door. Leave
mm-hmm,
whatever attitude you have at the door. And
mm-hmm.
it's just not
It's not
realistic,
realistic.
right? And it's like, okay, you have all of these levels of greatness that are in you, right? From your ancestral greatness to who you are. You're funny, you're silly, and you also sometimes like to read, but you really like to talk. So how can we leverage who you are to make sure that you are getting what you need, right? And how can we take away the bubble of education and make sure that it spreads into the community in a way that that it allows for authenticity to be at the core of learning,
Yeah.
right? So really, so I got two lessons there, right? Being seen, thinking about like building authenticity by understanding the community, understanding who kids are, where they come from, and valuing that. And the third is a real simple one, and I learned it at a parent teacher conference. I had this this co-teacher, and Jahan is so cool. She's like the coolest person I ever know met, right? Like, and I'm not really that cool, right? I like to read. I'm just
You're
like I'm
cool.
serious. I'm cool in a different way. She's like super cool. And
Uh-huh.
I was watching her at a parent-teacher conference, and the first thing she said to this parent was, "Oh my God, I love your nails," right? And it was a moment for me because there is a level of humanity that we take out of schooling,
Hmm.
and there is a necessity to one understand that is something that happens in the system, right? The system is designed to take out a level of humanity, right? And it is our role as the educators sitting behind this table talking to you about your child's success and who they're going to be in the future, right? To see you as a human, right?
Hmm.
Who spend 45 minutes to go to whatever nail salon and have very, very fly nails. And I can see it and I know you and I see it,
And I
right?
see
We're
you.
here, right? And I see you, right? And so it's not only seeing the child as who they are, but seeing their family, seeing their community. And I guess like I'm saying the same thing over and over again as we're sharing, right? Like it
Yeah.
is about having your eyes open to who people are and finding a space to connect.
Yeah.
And I think in education, we don't do that enough, right? Uh,
Anymore, anyway.
anymore, anymore,
Anymore. Yeah.
right?
Because we
And
used to.
we used to. And I think we used to, and then there was this period of time where like respectability took precedence over authenticity.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, it created an even further divide, and it created a further divide amongst us, right? Like I am better. No, no, no,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. We're
Hmm.
not. We're here. Let's talk and let's be
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
I am hanging on to so many of the things that you just shared, Alana. But one thing you said when you started responding to this question was, let's take who you are, let's leverage who you are so we can get what, so you can get what you need. That
Yep.
for me is, that's an education, that's an educator's life lesson, but that's a life lesson in general. Like I have to
Mhm.
leverage, I have to know who I am and leverage that so I can make sure I get what I need as well, right?
Yeah. And I
So
think we don't have
powerful.
enough spaces for people to learn who they are, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're almost afraid to know who we are. And
Mhm.
I am somebody who talks very openly about like, look, I've been in therapy for 9 years and it
Yeah,
done changed my life. You know what I mean? And it did because it allowed for me to take a look at myself and take a look at my patterns without fear, without shame, and
no
be able to
judgment.
without judgment and to be able to say, oh, this is who you are, right? Cool. Let's use that to understand other people.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it so much. So you came here and said, you came back to this community and said, I'm going to do something differently. You didn't just join a school system. You co-designed and sought to build one with this community, with the community that you've described by seeing people. What does what does founding something like that, a charter school, a outside of the box, quote unquote, approach to learning, what does that teach you? What did it teach you about who education is really designed to serve, and sort of how to serve in the community even?
Mm.
She's like, oh, do you have time? I mean, what kind of time do you have?
So honestly, I didn't come back with the intention of like that was never what my intention was, right? To come
Okay,
found a school, right? My intention was to sit in my house and read a bunch of books. That's what my intention was. And to find my way to Hunting Island every now and then and to sit on the beach. That was what my intention was,
good
right?
intentions.
But I found myself here and I'm a bit of a nerd, right? So like I want to understand what's happening and to you can't understand only through people's experiences. You need to look at data, right? And so when I think about like the what I learned about the public schooling system, right, and schooling in general, began with the journey of diving into some data and
Hmm.
seeing the inequity that exists in our area, right? It is tremendous. It is tremendous. It is scary,
That's
right?
heartbreaking.
We have like 2 out of every 10 students entering middle school proficient in reading or in math. Or, right? Like that's crazy. That means that 80% of kids are not walking into to middle school able to read on grade level, to do numeracy on grade level.
Hmm.
What does that offer you? Right? Like, what does that mean for the experience that you're going to have in middle school? How you're going to see yourself, how your teachers are going to see you?
Yeah.
Because we are living in a world, and I agree with this deeply, right? Of acceleration. We don't ever lower the bar. We keep the bar here, right? But if we're keeping the bar here, how are we supporting kids to
To get
reach
there.
that bar?
Yeah.
And right now, we're not. Right? Like we are looking at school systems where we are consistently failing the same kids over and over again. And then we are confused at why there is like a $50,000 income gap, or what it means to be black and what it means to be white on St. Helena Island. Well, because we have mistaught all of our kids. And when they exit school, about 60% of them say they don't know what they're doing after high school, right? So you don't know what you're doing after high school, and you come back or you don't come back, right? And then over time, the property that was your family's property, you don't have necessarily the skills to be able to maintain
To
that or even
maintain
the
that.
money to be able to do that. And so, we don't want to talk about it, right? Because
Yeah.
it sounds like
A conspiracy. It sounds like the system doing what it was designed to do. Hmm.
exactly. And then we are confused at like the I always go back to the income gap, right?
Hmm.
Because $50,000 in South Carolina is it's not enough in Beaufort, to be fair, right? It's
To
not.
be fair, it
$92,000
isn't.
to live in Beaufort as with a family of four, just to be clear,
Just to
right?
be fair.
But $50,000 is an average salary, right? And so what that means is that in certain households, there is essentially an additional person, right, by way of income that allows for time, it allows for thoughtfulness, it allows for less stress,
Yeah.
and that all matters and matters so much.
In so many
The-
ways.
And education is just the cornerstone, right? Like we got so many parts to fix, right? We got to do public health. We have to do mental health. We have to do facilities. We have to do I see garbage on the street all the time, right? Like we got to do all of those things. And education allows for those things to happen at a rate that far increases anything.
Yeah. No, without question. It has always been liberation, right? It
Yeah,
has always been the path to liberation.
yeah.
But tell us this. What do you think people most misunderstand about culturally responsive
Yeah.
education, especially in a community like ours? Because we're talking about the system that was designed to not serve us well. We, okay,
Hmm.
can easily understand that given the data.
Hmm.
But then we bring in this, okay, well, we're going to do a culturally responsive education. And then there's misunderstanding. And then talk to us about that. What did you
Yeah,
experience?
so I got to tell you what, first off, one of my favorite books for like educational foundational books is Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain because they answer this question like with the nail on the head
Okay.
because it is not about stuff, right? It is not about that surface level of culture. It's not about the food, and it's not about the music, the it's not about that, right? It is about how you think about other people, right? And when I think
Yeah.
about, right, like the best work in culture responsive teaching doesn't have you do anything differently, really, right? It has you think differently. It has you stop when it has you see when your brain is leaning into your own biases.
Hmm.
It says, say, my brain is leading into its biases. Cool. Now let's address those biases and now we do something different. It's not about the outputs. It's not about like coming into school and playing the drums,
You have
right?
your dashiki on, and you could
No,
have a
it's
basket in your
no,
hand.
it's not about that, right? It's about really being able to catch yourself and maneuver differently,
Hmm.
right? And it's about we keep going back to the same thing, right? It's about being seen and it's about being seen and to know that like even as you're seeing others, you need to see yourself.
Mm.
And it's a continual cycle
Yeah,
and you're never going to get
get it.
right like culturally responsive teaching because it is responsiveness is in its name. Responsiveness requires continuous change in a way that is really in the process of thinking and shifting how you're thinking to best fit this and support you know everyone.
Yeah.
um and one thing that I think is really interesting, because this is some feedback. So, I mean, look, we had white teachers, and I believe in teachers. I think in good teachers, right?
Yeah.
And culturally responsive teachers. And that isn't, that's not dictated by like the color of skin that you have or the
No.
experiences that you
No.
have. You know what I mean? It is about your willingness to be able to hold the mirror up to yourself and use that mirror for a window for kids to see out of,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, so
Um,
beautiful.
and it's about being able to do that more than it is about who you are and who you were and who you've come from. It's about understanding that story and using that story to understand your biases, understand how you see the world, and question yourself constantly.
That's it. The mirror and window and mirror imagery is such a beautiful way to put that. It is just
Yep.
such an ongoing balancing act. It's an ongoing act of
Yes.
love, like encouraging.
Ah,
Oh my goodness. So I could talk to you
active
about
love
that.
is so right. I'm sorry. I love is one of my core values, right?
Hmm.
Because we live in 2026 where everybody does core value work, right? But
Hey.
love is my one of my core values because like when you're able to love, right? And when you're able to love yourself, you're able to enter with grace. And when you're able to enter with grace, you're able to forgive yourself, forgive others, and understand where people are coming from without it feeling like a weight. And we don't live in a space where there is enough love, right? And unconditional, like radical love. And I think about the work that I do in education, right? My kids won't ever say that I'm like, I mean, they sometimes say I'm nice, but I'm not really nice, right? They know where my line is. And it's because I love them. And I'm not gonna love you to death. I'm gonna love you to life. And life sometimes means telling you about yourself and let's get it together and let's move on. Because I
Hmm.
love you. And
Hmm.
that's it. There's nothing you can do about
And
it.
what kinds of humans have a better barometer for love than young humans? New young humans, their love and their BS barometers
Hmm.
are tuned, and they can, I think, anyway, can feel it, they can sense it, they can intuit it nearly immediately.
Hmm.
And if it's there, you can teach them almost anything,
Yes. Yes.
anything.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
it is not there, you can be a rocket scientist and you can't teach them anything.
Anything. Anything. They look, because the thing that people forget about learning is that learning happens in the intersections of mistakes,
Mm,
right? Like you have to not know something to then know something. And you have to be vulnerable enough to not know something to be able to then learn it. And you're asking somebody to be their most vulnerable self with you when they are learning.
mm.
which is exciting. And you get an opportunity, it's a privilege,
It's a
right?
That's a privilege.
But if you don't see it as a privilege, they could smell it on you. And they should react like that. And look, I'm never mad at a kid. I'm never mad at a kid for treating somebody the way they felt they made them feel, right? Like,
Yes. Let me know now.
hmm
Thank you. Oh, that's so incredible. Okay. All right. We already have to get to wrapping up. I don't know how the time like goes with these conversations. I look down, it's like, oh my goodness. Okay. Before I get to my closing questions,
Okay.
tell me this. How has becoming a mother shifted the way you think about education and legacy and risk?
It scares me much more. Like it's way more. It's so scary now, right? Becoming a mother has shifted the way that I've thought about education, um, and in the way that I first shared, right? Like it's scary, it's terrifying now, right? Because I know this, right? That every decision that you make has such a large impact on the person that your child is going to be. And at the same time, you can do nothing about the person that they're going to be, right? And so that is a challenge, right? That's a new challenge for me as I think about this. Um, and I also just, I'm just very thoughtful about the ways in which we are our children's first teachers,
Mm.
right? That's something my mom used to always say to me, used to bother me, used to kill me. I'm like, no, my teacher told me to do this way. She said, no, I'm your first teacher, right? And how we enter this work is how we allow our kids to learn about learning, right? And I am so joyful every time this little boy picks up a book and holds it upside down. I'm like, okay, he's gonna be a reader, right? His favorite things to grab on the table are always pens. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be a writer. It's gonna be fantastic. But also, he's just gonna be himself. I just want him to know himself. And so that is one way that I've been thoughtful about it. The other way that I've been thoughtful about it is like the act of schooling and the community, the communal nature of schooling. So I bring my baby to work with me every day, right?
So beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is challenging. Trying to, have a meeting with a 1 year old in a playpen is not always the best. That being said, what is the best is watching our kids just love my baby, right? And it does something to the school space. It makes the school space feel like a real space, right? We talked earlier about this bubble. It takes away all,
Mhm.
like, look, I am a human. I'm
She's
gonna
got
be,
she's got things. Our principal are she's did not just work. She's got
nope.
this whole thing. She's a whole human with
Exactly,
hopes and
right? And
dreams and challenges and
it brings a humanity, right, to school, and it brings a humanity out in everyone. We have like
hmm.
it's literally a routine to read to Levi, right? Everybody has a
Oh,
chance to read to Levi at least once a week, and they
oh,
love it, right?
yes, I
And
bet.
it is it look, I'm like, you want to hold Levi, you got to finish your work. And would have never thought I would be somebody who would feel so comfortable with other people with my baby, especially kids, right? Because kids are clumsy and they don't, you're kids. But I think that my son is going to grow up with all of these cousins that he just felt love so early on. And it just is like, it has brought back and affirmed my understanding that schooling needs to be communal and it
Mm,
needs to be in community and it needs to be together, right? I'm a huge fan of like multi-age education because it teaches you how to be reliant, it teaches you how to work together, and
yes,
it ages up some and it brings down others, right? And
the
it just
good
creates
balance,
a balance that is
the
so
beautiful
beautiful.
balance. Oh my
And
goodness,
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it for you. I love it for them. I love it for us. I love it. All of these things that you have shared with us, Alana, is so encouraging and so joyful. And I can feel like the joy pouring off of you, right? If you're listening, like DD Community, you can hear it coming through, or you can see it coming through your screen. This is what we want for ourselves and our brothers and sisters. Let me close with this question. What part of this work or any of your ongoing efforts, like you got so much extra time between all of the things you're doing, but what's bringing you the most joy right now? What part of this work is bringing, or in your life, bringing you the most joy?
I'm gonna answer for my work, right?
Yeah.
'Cause my life is similar, but it's different, and I'll nuance way, and I will share that too. But for my work, I've always loved I love the kids, right? And it's the kids being human. And I think humanity is like the theme of this conversation and honoring humanity. And look, I love when I have a student who walks up to me and she's like, Miss Jenkins, let me tell you this thing, right? And and I'm like, girl, really?
Really?
Stop it, right? Like I'm do all the kids things with them. And they're just so fun,
Yeah.
right? And they're fun because they're themselves.
Yeah.
And we've created this space where they're able to be themselves, right? And all of the goodness, the challenges. And that same girl, I could walk up to her and be like, girl, uh-uh, this whole thing, it needs to shift. And she's like, okay, cool, right? Like, I got it. I'm like, okay, so what do you need? Right? I get to ask that question. I'm like, what do you need? And they're able to articulate, like, I need 5 minutes outside by myself.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Fine, have it.
Who among us hasn't needed that?
Right, right. And I'm like, but you're not gonna, this community needs you in it. And it needs you to bring your whole, authentic, beautiful humanity. And we can only do that if you get rid of that little Judy attitude on the side. So let's get it
Judy
together.
attitude.
Right? And, and we do that. And I think the joy that I get is in both like the hard moments and in the joyful, just talking moments with kids, is just knowing that we've created a space that they can be themselves and just enjoying them. I love them. I
No
love
doubt.
them, right? And just
No
enjoying
doubt.
who they are.
No doubt.
And I think in the same way, personally, I have these teenagers and a 1 year old, right? And we eat dinner together. It's an important value for me, right? Like I appreciate a dinner table, so we'll eat dinner together. And the teens are both drummers, right? And so they'll always start drumming on the table because I live in a house full of boys who are always loud doing stuff, right? And they're drumming on the table, and then their little 1 year old brother will start drumming and screaming with them. And it's just one of my favorite moments. It's just this moment of like family and joy, and you can it just all comes back to creating these spaces where
Yes.
people can be themselves and can enjoy being themselves, right?
Yeah.
And teach a little small human how to be himself. And it just is just like it's so joyful, and it's so joyful to see like the teenagers with their dad, because you never think that teenagers like to be around people, but they love
They
that man,
do. They
right?
love
And
it.
and just seeing them all just this wanting to be in the spirit of each other
Mm.
is just what I find joy
Oh my goodness. So that's leaking all over me, right?
in.
The wanting to be in the spirit of joy and company and community and family. What else even is there? We don't.
Literally nothing.
What else even is there?
Circling back to the beginning, right? This is the living and answered prayers,
Yes, that's it.
right? Because
That's
that's
it.
the moment, right?
That's
And
the
I didn't know
thing.
I wanted this moment in this prayer, but this is the moment that I wanted.
That's
This
it.
moment right here.
Amen and Ashe. Oh my goodness. So I gotta, how can folks, how can the DD community support the Sea Islands Heritage Academy and your work and creating more of this space? Let the people know how they can get in contact with you.
Okay, so getting in contact with me is easy, right? Everyone has my cell phone number, right? I got a cell phone number that's been plastered around the world. But more importantly, you can find us at seaislandsacademy.org, number one. You can also reach out via email at info@seaislandsacademy.org. You can find us on Facebook there as well. Those spaces, the way that you can partner best is by offering your joy, right? And telling me and sharing what you have done and the work that you do so that we can connect with kids. You can connect that with kids so that they can understand and see like this is what joy looks like in action in adults.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Y'all, for your listening, if you're listening and looking, just scroll down. That link is going to be in the episode notes. Alana, this has just been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you
This
so
is
much
so
for
much fun.
sharing in this space, for bringing your joyful, wonderful insights to this space. And folks on the in the interweb, you know I say it every time. If you enjoyed, if you were inspired by what you heard or saw today, and I know you were, don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Sharing is caring. Share with your networks. Let somebody else get a little bit of this as well. And until next time, I hope the remainder of the week, wherever you are in the week, is everything you need it to be. Thanks so much for tuning in, Queen Sis. Have an incredible rest of your day.